The crypto market keeps struggling to break through this pesky previous all-time high, and altcoins too have been struggling. And so, does this mean that the bull market is over before it's even began? Well, in this video, I'm going to be showing why I believe the reason things appear to be struggling right now is because we have not yet even started. As strange as it sounds, getting back to the previous all-time high is just the starting point to the next big bull market. And so we'll be covering the latest price action to get the true perspective on what is going on. We'll see where we are in this 4-year cycle, and then we'll finish with the biggest developments from all around the world in just the past couple of weeks. So first up, let's take a look at the latest price performance to regain the true perspective on what is going on. And so, before we jump in and take a look at the daily price chart, which I think many times can be quite misleading, a zoomed out picture is a much better place to start. So we have Bitcoin, and this is the quarterly results going back the last 10 years or so. And Bitcoin is the index for the entire crypto market. And then we have Ethereum as well, which is a little bit like the king of the altcoins. As if Ethereum's doing well, pretty much most of the top altcoins will be doing well, and vice versa. So this is a much better place to get the true perspective. And so what do we see? Well, first of all, let's just take a look at how Bitcoin and Ethereum are doing so far this year in 2024. So for Bitcoin, Q1 was almost 70%, and then Q2, we're having this pullback about 6%. So still up over 60% on the year, and it's a very similar picture for Ethereum as well. So the true perspective is that crypto is still outperforming the S&P, so stocks, outperforming bonds, outperforming gold, outperforming property, despite all the recent volatility. So this is the true perspective. And having a pullback quarter, as you can see, is nothing new and very, very healthy. If we look at the last halving year, we can see it started with a pullback quarter, and then it just got stronger and stronger and stronger. So without looking at the daily price chart, this gives me the true perspective and fills me with a lot of confidence. Crypto is still doing very, very well. Now, when we do zoom in and take a look at the daily price chart, you can see just how volatile it is. And for the past 3 months or so, we've had these crazy runs, crazy crashes, and it's just been trading in this 60,000 to 70,000 range. And this line being the previous all-time high, which most recently, this is what it's been battling with. And the reason we are still very, very early is because getting back to the previous all-time high, this is just the starting point to the next race. And this is why it appears to be very choppy at the moment. It's a pivotal point, but it's just the starting point. So question is, what is coming over the coming months? And we have 3 previous ones now, blue being the first, then we have the second and the third. So we are distinctly getting these diminishing returns each time, and that's an important point. And then in red, this is where we're at right now, and the halving has just gone through the middle. So we're in this really choppy period post-halving. Now, because we get diminishing returns, if we're being truly objective, then Bitcoin shouldn't be above the blue, it shouldn't be above the yellow, and it even shouldn't be above the green. To be getting diminishing returns, it should be rocking it down here, but it's not. So if anything, the crypto market because of the ETF launch is ahead of where it should be. And Bitcoin has no business being ahead of the first cycle. I mean, this is when Bitcoin was like $100. And the simple math is it's way harder to double something that is $1 trillion than something that is $100. So it does need to come below and back to these cycles. So just knocking out the blue one. So for me, although it's something I don't want to happen, obviously we all want it just to go crazy and break all the trends and just go to the moon. Emotions aside and my personal wants aside, it really does need to come back down. So this can either be some more choppy sideways action. We could get a flush out in price bigger than what we've just gone through. These drops in price are not really that big. There can be a much bigger flush out, and the important point is we'd still be on track. For me, a likely scenario is that it may top out at about this 10x mark. If we're going from 100 down to 20, then 10 would be reasonable. And I think the absolute best case scenario, because we're opening up the doorways to the traditional financial world with the ETFs, we may get the same 20x run, but that would be the most bullish case. So that means that, however annoying, we could get more sideways action and even some more downside, but it would still be okay. All your coins would still be on track to do very, very well. And it may line up in about a month from now, maybe 6 weeks. This is when the Ethereum ETF is probably going to be going live. So maybe here is where the fireworks will begin to go off. Time will tell. Now, check out these developments that have happened just recently. First up, we have to point out that this shows the fastest ETF to 20 billion in assets. This was the previous winner, and this is the Bitcoin ETF from BlackRock. And you can just see the absolute sheer vertical move and success story of the Bitcoin ETFs. They've absolutely demolished every previous ETF in history. And the big thing, guys, is that the traditional financial world is still digesting what the hell has just happened. This is only happened in the last couple of months, and finance is measured in years, decades, even centuries. So Bitcoin has essentially gone into every single office in the financial world and slapped the CEO across the face and said, pay attention. So this is the monumental thing that's just happened. It's rocking the traditional financial world, and it's still being digested. We're now seeing other countries all around the world. This is just the one from Australia ramping up their spot Bitcoin ETFs as well. But this is happening in many, many countries as the race has begun. Interestingly, we had a big bank in Singapore, and it looks like they have been building up and holding Ethereum. So like I mentioned, we're about to go through a massive ETF launch hype cycle again, this time with Ethereum. Very interestingly, there was a headline that Fidelity International had tokenized a money market fund on JP Morgan's blockchain. Now, I appear to have missed this, but I didn't realize JP Morgan had been ramping up and launched their own blockchain, apparently called Onyx Digital Assets. And if we jump over to the website, so JP Morgan getting into the power of tokenization. And on their website, they're basically singing all the benefits of tokenization using the JP Morgan coin system. So the mega behemoths of the traditional financial world are only just now getting into tokenization. So this is massive news in itself. Now, very interestingly, we had current US President Joe Biden vetoing SARB 121. So this was all to do with the US banks being able to custody crypto. The House and Senate had passed this bill. However, Joe Biden has revealed his true colors and he is anti-crypto. So this was a big move by Joe, and many are now speculating that this is going to cost him the election, as on the flip side, we're getting more and more comments and clips from Donald Trump saying, "I am very positive and open-minded to cryptocurrency. Our country must be the leader in this field. There's no second place. Crook Joe Biden, on the other hand, the worst president in history, wants it to die a slow and painful death. But that will never happen with me." So great to see presidential candidates fighting to be the most crypto-friendly. And finally, this is a biggie. It's the return of liquidity. So recently, the US Treasury has announced the first Treasury buyback operation since 2002. So this program is designed to improve liquidity in the Treasury market. And essentially, the Treasury plans to hold weekly liquidity support, buying back up to $2 billion per operation. So liquidity is starting to return. And finally, the reason why I keep saying we've not even started yet is because we've just gone through this M2 contraction where they've been sucking liquidity out of the system, and we're only just beginning the next cycle. The reason it's being choppy at the moment is that we're just now entering the next phase where liquidity can come back. So even though it would be great for interest rates to be falling, if we could only pick one thing, it's not lower interest rates. It is liquidity. And the new cycle is just about to begin. So even though things feel a bit shaky right now, as you saw, we are exactly where we should be at this point. And in fact, we're probably still a bit further ahead, despite all the volatility. Even with everything going on, still this year, crypto is outperforming stocks, bonds, gold, silver, you name it. The Bitcoin ETFs were the biggest ETF launch in history, and the financial world is still processing that fact. We have presidential candidates fighting to be the most crypto-friendly. We have JP Morgan saying it's all about tokenization. The Bitcoin ETF launch was a ridiculous hype cycle, and we're still about to go through it all again with Ethereum. And most important, we are just at the next turning point of the next liquidity cycle. So the truth is, we're still at the very early innings of the next big bull market cycle. And so patience is key. Not checking prices every 10 minutes is key. And if you simply cannot wait another day, then you can always join the meme coin casino and see how you get on in there. Bottom line is, there is a ridiculous amount of bullish developments going on right now, and we're just at the very beginning of the next phase. And this explains why it's all a little bit choppy right now. So there you are, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If anyone is still feeling bearish, then feel free to watch this video again. If you have any questions or comments, simply leave them below. However, just remember, to get rid of 100% of the comment spam and trading bots that plague YouTube comments, we are trying out the new SuperThanks Commenting system. So to get your question or comment read and replied to, or just to say thanks, then use SuperThanks below. And for now, just to say, if you did enjoy anything in the video, then drop a like, and a big thank you to everyone who does, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.